Now what you see here is the fastest car in the world, at least in terms of broadband speed. Hi, I'm Mark Boyadjis with IHS Automotive, and we're here today with the 2015 Audi A3. Now, as referenced earlier, this A3 is the first vehicle in the world to come with an embedded 4G LTE modem, in this case running on the AT&T wireless network. Now this broadband cellular connection allows the vehicle to host a Wi-Fi hotspot for up to 8 different devices, in addition to a number of connected applications such as traffic, weather, fuel prices, parking location, even Facebook and Twitter. Now, all of this connectivity is good, and it's even better because Audi has redesigned the MMI control interface to a simpler, more intuitive interface compared to the systems we see currently in A6, A7, A8, and others. Now, this cellular connection does a lot for this vehicle, but it still left us wanting a little bit more in terms of some of the telematics services that we see in other vehicles in competitor markets. In addition, this vehicle, as equipped, didn't have even a rear camera in terms of safety systems, and so we were really missing some of the technology that Audi has on its other vehicles in that regard. That said, let's take a look inside and see how the technology is being deployed. Now, as mentioned, on the inside, Audi Connect does a lot for this vehicle, including a Wi-Fi hotspot, a lot of connected apps, and even through navigation, you get Google Earth as your mapping layer that you can drive around on just like you would any other navigation map. There's HERE maps on the underside that actually give you the roadway network, but then you can get the visuals from Google Earth. What's interesting though is if you thought your MSRP was the only price you'd ever have to pay on a car, that's no longer the case. With this vehicle, you need to pay attention to your data plan and how that's going to work. Now with Audi Connect in the A3, you actually have 2 different data plans to choose from when it comes to all of these connected services. For the first 6 months of ownership, it's free. You get 5 gigs for free 6 months, but once that's over, you can either buy another 5 gigabytes for another 6 months, that'll set you back $100, or you opt for the 30 gigabyte package that will last for 30 months, that will be $500. The difference is basically the first plan gives you data access for $20 per gigabyte, the second gives you access for $16 per gigabyte. And we really think if you're going to be using this in the long haul, that larger package is really going to be what it's worth. Now, what's interesting is over the course of our testing, we didn't use the Wi-Fi hotspot a whole lot, which we feel is really where the most of the LTE data usage is going to come into play. Using the apps and Google Earth and the other connected architecture doesn't really pull in a whole lot. In fact, over the course of 5 days, it was only about 50 megabytes. So you're probably going to be pretty good with that lower data plan unless you're actually going to be using it for the hotspot a lot. Now in terms of services and apps with the onboard system, you get weather, fuel prices, travel information, news, parking information, and you can access your Twitter and your Facebook accounts all from this system. What's really neat though is you actually don't set up anything in the car. You do all of the management of the account and the apps and logging into your Twitter and Facebook accounts and all that off board on your PC, your tablet, or even your smartphone. And even better yet, the system keeps you logged in based on the phone that you pair up with the Bluetooth system. So your passcode that comes in with your phone will be unique, and say your wife's or your friend's or your spouse's passcode will be unique to them. So if they drive the car, they're automatically logged in to their Audi Connect account. Pretty intelligent in terms of how those different accounts are managed in this connected system. One thing we noticed that was kind of weird was Facebook actually allows you to see most of your timeline, pictures, events, friends. There's a lot that you can access through the system even while driving. What's nice though, you can't put in any text, you can like things and it'll read out those comments as opposed to having you read them on the screen. However, that reading, it's a little bit robotic, and if you do it a lot, it'll actually kind of get weird. One other thing we thought was very interesting was the news. We could listen to headlines from ANP or NPR or various news outlets that are fed into Audi Connect. The problem was a headline doesn't really tell you that much, and we were left wanting more to hear about what happened in sports or in technology or in business. So a nice added feature, but we wanted to take it a step further. Now in terms of audio system, the A3 has ditched Bose. On the base level premium trim level, which we have here, we get a 10-speaker Audi concert radio. And quite frankly, even though it's not the premium option, it sounds pretty good. We can tell it's not a premium level system, but honestly, I'm not sure you need to upgrade to the Bang & Olufsen. However, if you want to, you have to go at least to the Premium Plus trim level, in which case the 14-speaker, 705-watt Bang & Olufsen system will be optional for $850. Now, if you opt for the Prestige level trim, you're going to get Bang & Olufsen standard anyways. Now, this audio system has a host of different sources you can put through it. For example, you have your standard AM/FM radio, and in this case, even standard HD radio with the new Artist Experience. Depending upon the station, it might broadcast even the album art or the station art of the particular HD radio station. You also have Sirius XM broadcast radio, plus a host of media sources. So there's an embedded 11 gig jukebox that you can put media onto. In addition, you can hook up an iPod or a USB port through the Audi media interface. Plus, there's a Bluetooth connection for bringing in a Bluetooth stream from a mobile phone, for example. In addition, you can pop in a CD, you can pop in an SD card, you can even pop in a DVD. On top of that, through Audi Connect, there's also a music streams portion of the app that actually runs on the LTE connection, and that, while it's not branded Rdio, is run by Rdio from the background, an internet radio provider similar to that of Pandora or Spotify. And lastly, because this has a Wi-Fi hotspot in it, you can use that to use Wi-Fi Direct and connect up a device that has Wi-Fi Direct for even more audio streaming. So we talk about the audio system being pretty good, but really it's the sources that are pretty amazing. Now, the other thing that's really amazing about this Audi is the display itself. It's a pretty high resolution screen, but even more so, there's an NVIDIA chipset that's running the graphics on the back end. And because it has Google Earth, we thought that was going to slow it down and make it kind of choppy, but you can zoom out and zoom in really fast in this system, and it reacts lightning quick. It's very seamless and streamlined, and frankly, maybe among the best in terms of graphics we've seen on the market. Now, I also mentioned the displays. It's got this kind of neat function where you can lower the screen. It helps if that's kind of out of view sometimes if you want to just have it down, but frankly, I kind of like looking at the screen. I prefer it up. Now, we talk about displays, but in the Audi A3, there's actually a brand new design to the MMI controller. And instead of having as many buttons, they've actually opted for these kind of toggle switches between radio, media, navigation, and phone. There's still the 4-quadrant multifunction buttons, as well as a menu and a back button. Continuously, I still have problems with the turn left to go down function. I always want to turn right. The menus in this system make you turn right to scroll down. Maybe it's something you get used to. In addition, the back button's on the right. For me, I wanted to use my thumb to go back. For some reason, that just felt more natural. And it's taken me a little while over the course of this week to understand how to use that. The one thing that has been integrated, which is nice, is they've actually brought the MMI touchpad right into the top of the control knob. And that's different from the other systems where there's a touchpad separately. The reason this is good is for scrolling on the map. You can do some pinch and zoom functions as well, plus character entry. So say you're searching for a POI like coffee, you can put in COFFEE and it'll search it in the POI database or even through Google. However, the speech recognition in this system is so good that frankly, I'm not sure that's going to be necessary, because with one click and one pronunciation, you can have Google searching for coffee a lot quicker than anything through that text entry. Now, the only real gripe that we have with this particular vehicle is the active safety. In the case of blind spot detection, lane departure warning, active cruise control with stop and go, you can buy those. It'll cost you through a couple of packages about $2,000. But for a car that already, as equipped, is tripping almost $40,000, it doesn't even have a rear camera, and it doesn't have any parking sensors either. And quite frankly, that's something that Honda has standardized on the Fit. Why isn't it on this A3? Well, it's optional, of course, but something that we feel should be standardized. Now, while this technology package is literally world's first with the 4G LTE and the high bandwidth data capability in this car, it's certainly not cheap. This A3 comes standard at $29,900 for the premium package. The vehicle we have here clocks in just under $40,000 for Premium Plus with navigation. In addition, you can add some of the safety features we were talking about and clock this in up towards $44,000, which really starts to get expensive. And this isn't even the S3, which we assume will be a little bit more expensive. Now, on top of that, you could be paying a couple $100, $100, $200, maybe $500 for data, which you already probably have on your smartphone. The nice thing is you can add it to your mobile share plan, but that's if you're an AT&T subscriber. It gets a little complicated, and we're not convinced that all the millennials that Audi's trying to tap with this smaller vehicle will be convinced to buy Audi over maybe a more cost-effective, lower-priced offering from maybe a different brand. However, the technology, we gotta say, still world-class, pretty amazing how they've implemented it into this car, and we'll see LTE on the rest of the Audi lineup over the next 18 months. For more on this and other IHS Automotive reviews, go to ihs.com/automotive or subscribe to our YouTube channel.